Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Shadowman Read. Today I'll be doing my book haul video from Book Expo. I know a number of you are highly anticipating this video, so let's just get right into it. So just a few things first before I dive into the books. Number one, these are not in any particular order. I have not organized these based on which days I got them, the publication date, etc. They're literally just going to be from the pile and I'm just going to show them to you guys, etc. So they're not in any particular order. And number two, this is the first time I'll ever be doing this, but I think I will have to film part of it and then come back later to film the rest because I'm actually trying to leave in an hour or so to go to BookCon, and I originally wanted to film this, start film this really early in the morning. But I was just really tired, and by the time I got around to actually getting ready, it was already 11:30, 12 o'clock. So I'm going to try to film as much as I can within the next hour or so, and then I'm going to rush off, go to BookCon. After BookCon, the meetup and everything, I'm going to come back and then I will try to film the rest of it, ideally sometime today. But anyways, finally, let's get on with the books. So I think this time around, I actually did a pretty good job in trying to manage the number of books I want to get. I believe, if I'm correct, I will put a counter when I'm actually editing the video, but I believe I got around 67 books. Last year, I want to say I got about 100 books, including BookCon. And this year, I really want to just focus on the books that I actually want to get. There are a few exceptions, of course, maybe 10 to 15 books that I randomly picked up, etc. But for the most part, I really stuck to my initial list, so I'm actually pretty proud of that. We'll see actually when I do the counter to see how many books I actually got. But the first book that I got is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. Obviously, this was high on my list because I have read her other books before and I really enjoyed it. I did a reading vlog for one of them. I think it was Then She Was Gone. I will link that above in case you want to check that out. I feel like at this point now, she's just a must buy or must get author. So as soon as I saw that she was dropping a book, or she was writing a new book and they're dropping it, I was very excited and I wanted to pick it up. All I know is that this is obviously a mystery thriller novel. Other than that, I really don't know, but it's from Lisa Jewell, and the last book that I read from her, Then She Was Gone, I really enjoyed, so I have pretty high hopes for this one. So of course I had to pick up this book, and this one comes out on October 29th, 2019. The next book that I picked up is Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. This was definitely on my list as well. So this book just sounds really adorable. It's about this first love where something happens and the guy basically betrays the girl, and 14 years later they come back together, and now she is basically forced to confront the man who betrayed her. And I don't know, this book sounds really good. I have high hopes for this one. Oh yes, and this one comes out on October 22nd, 2019. So the next book that I picked up was one that initially was not on my list. I was actually in line for something else. I believe it was 3 options. You get to pick 1, 2, or 3, and then depending on availabilities you get whatever book that you want. So initially I wanted to get a different book, but then I was talking to my Instagram friend because she was on the same line with me. She wanted to get this book, so afterward I was very curious about it. It piqued my interest, so when I had the opportunity later, because I think they were handing this out again the next day or something like that, I managed to pick this up, and this is The Wives by Taryn Fisher. So because this book actually wasn't on my initial list, I actually don't know anything about this book, but it does say here though, it says that imagine that your husband has 2 other wives, and I do know that this is a mystery thriller novel, and that's something I usually enjoy, so I have pretty high hopes for this one. Plus my Bookstagram friend also has some pretty good reading choices, so I feel like I trust when she said that this was really high on her list. And this one comes out on December 30th, 2019. Then the next book was pretty much number 1, or maybe not number 1, but the number top 3 books I really want to get from Book Expo, and that is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I absolutely adored, so I was so excited they were dropping the sequel to it. So this book is supposed to mostly focus on Gray, and for those who have read the first book, you know who Gray is. I feel like most people really enjoy him actually, their ship is for him, and so this book is supposed to really focus on his character, which I am so excited for. So I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the first book, this whole series really is supposed to be a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, which honestly the first book was so good, guys. If you haven't picked up yet, definitely recommend that book. This is a YA fantasy book, and this one comes out on January 7th, 2020. So excited for this one, guys. Then the next book that I got was one that I don't really know anything about, but Fierce Reads was doing those recommends giveaways where you basically tell them what kind of books that you enjoy and they will recommend a book for you. So this one I got The Liars of Mariposa Island by Jennifer Matthew, and I think the reason why they ended up giving, so actually they gave me a different book and ended up trading it with Carrie because I was like, I don't know if I really like this book, and the reason why she got this book was because she wanted a beach read, and this is supposed to be a beach read book. I don't really know other than that, so we'll see. But thank you so much, Carrie, for switching with me, because that other book, I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood for. I think I asked them for something that was fantasy related and it didn't look fantasy. I think they gave me a contemporary book. I don't know, it was not a book that I was really interested in, but this one comes out on September 2019. The next book that I got was one that I got because, so originally I got in line for a different book, but by the time it got to me, they ran out of the book that I really wanted. And so there was only this book and another book, and this one was a sci-fi novel. And I think this is one out of the 2 sci-fi novels I got during my entire Book Expo experience. So honestly, I'm kind of glad I got this because I really like sci-fi, but they weren't giving out that many, or at least I didn't really see that many. Or maybe I'm wrong and I got more sci-fi than I imagined, but I think I only got 2. If I remember correctly, I only got 2. But anyways, this one is Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdez. Hope I pronounced her name correctly, but all I know is that this is supposed to be a space opera, and that's literally all I know about this book. And this one comes out on September 2019. Then the next book that I got was one that I actually didn't get, but Madison somehow managed to get a second copy, so she asked me if I wanted one as well, so I was like, why not? This one is Shadow Scent by P.M. Freestone. This book, from just looking at it very briefly, is supposed to be about perfume and how perfume is linked to power and prestige, and it's supposed to be like a YA fantasy novel, so that sounds really intriguing actually. I don't think I've read a book where perfume or scents really is how you distinguish between power and prestige and your status, I guess, in society, so this book does sound really intriguing to me. And this one comes out on November 5th, 2019. The next book that I got was one that I actually didn't really want to get actually. I think I saw that they were handing this out and I specifically just like, no, I'm not that interested in it, so I didn't include that. Actually, like, I consciously did not include that on my list. But then when I was actually there the last day, I think I was talking to Sophie, and she mentioned that this book was #1 on her list, or like really high on the list, because someone else had mentioned to her that was really, really good. And it wasn't just her, it was also Madison. Like, a lot of people were telling me that this book was really good, so they all got in line to get a ticket to get this book. And so I was like, all right, I feel like I trust you guys if you're reading suggestions, recommendations, so I figured why not. And this one is Gideon the Ninth by Tansen Mirror? Hoping I pronounced her name correctly. So all I know about this book is that it has something to do with necromancy, and it says back here that it's supposed to be an epic science fantasy, so I guess I do have another science-y related book, but I'm not sure how science, necromancers go into science. I don't know. This is supposed to be a fantasy. That's all I know. It's supposed to be about girls with swords, and it does sound good. I just think when I saw the synopsis on Goodreads, it just didn't really lure me, but a lot of people are recommending it, so I figured why not. And this one comes out on September 2019. But honestly, I have to say the cover is gorgeous. I really, really like this cover, guys. Then the next book that I got was one that I was not expecting to get, but I was actually in line for something else, for another Harper book, and I didn't realize that once you get up there, you can literally take as many copies as you want. I mean, one of every book, but they have maybe like 6 or 7 different types of titles, and I've seen people just walk by with literally one of each, and so I wasn't like that. I only got 4, I think, that sounded really good. So this was not the one I stood in line for. I stood in line for something else. Ended up getting 4 books. So anyways, this one is Lady in the Lake by Laura Lippman. This is supposed to be a psychological thriller. I mean, that's literally all I saw. Then I was like, sold, guys, sold for psychological thrillers. And it says back here that's to be about middle-aged housewife turned aspiring reporter who pursues the murder of a forgotten young woman. So this sounds really good. We'll see how this goes. I haven't actually heard too much about it, but we'll see. This one comes out on July 2019, so definitely one of my earlier releases I should probably pick up sooner rather than later. The next book that I got was one that I was not expecting to get, mainly because I didn't think I'll have time for it, but then I was walking around and I think I just found the line and they said they had a lot of copies left, so I was like, why not just jump onto line and get a copy of this book? And this one is I'm Not Dying With You by Kimberly Jones and Gilly Siegel. This book does sound really fascinating. A lot of people said they really, really enjoyed it, and it's about these 2 people who are nothing alike, but something happens that one night and they're basically thrown into this whole situation and they have to figure out how to survive and rely on each other to survive the night. And it does sound really good. We'll see how this goes. And this one comes out on October 1st, 2019. The next book that I got, which is one I'm really excited for, it looks really good, plus the cover looks stunning, and that is Reverie by Ryan LaSala. This is supposed to be a YA fantasy, and all I know is that it has some good LGBT rep. It's supposed to be an Own Voices novel, and it's supposed to be, like it says here, Inception meets The Magicians. And it's supposed to be something about realities and how there are these reveries, something about realities are shifted, and people actually can control these fantasies, etc. It's kind of hard to explain. I looked at the Goodreads summary and I looked at the spec summary and they seem kind of different, so I don't really know which one to trust right now, but all I know is about reality, about Inception kind of situation. There's fantasy, there's magic involved, something like that. We'll see. Yeah. But this book looks really, really good, guys. And this one comes out on January 7th, 2020. The next book that I got is one that I got because the cover looks absolutely stunning. It's written by an Asian author, and it's a YA fantasy. And that's pretty much all I know, but I am really excited for this book. This one is Shadow Frost by Coco Ma. Coco Ma is literally the cutest, the sweetest, the most adorable author ever. I mean, I met her and she was just so sweet. She was so cute, guys. I think Madison's in love with her though. Just FYI there. But I did not know that she's only 19, I want to say. I think she's 19. And she finished this book when she was 15. So I'm just really curious to see how awesome this book is. And plus, I mean, Asian rep as well, so very excited for this one. And before I forget, it comes out on October 2019. The next book that I got was one that I am so excited for. I literally tried to get this book for the longest time, and I finally managed to get a copy. I think I tried like 2 or 3 times, but finally managed to get a copy of this book, and that is There Will Come a Darkness by Kitty Rose Poole. First of all, can I just say how stunning this cover is? I really hope this is the final cover because this looks absolutely gorgeous. And all I really know, honestly, is that this is a YA fantasy, and I feel like that's all I really need to know, so very excited for this one. This one comes out on September 2019. Then the next book that I got is one of the 4 that I randomly got from Harper, and that is The Nanny by Gillian Macmillan. All I know about this book is another mystery thriller novel. It's something to do with the nanny, obviously, and something to do with a girl. I think her nanny disappeared like ages ago, and 30 years later something happens, and she now must figure out and find out why her nanny disappeared 30 years prior. That's all I know. I feel like I can't know too much going into mystery thrillers because honestly, sometimes I realize that the summary spoils some parts of it, so anyways, all I really know about this book. But I'm very excited for this one. This one comes out on September 2019. The next book that I got was also one of the 4 random books I got from HarperCollins, and that is Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson. This one, okay, I actually did not know about this book until Madison mentioned it, and I was very curious about it. And it says over here, Never Have I Ever is creepy, twisty, full of suspense, pacey, and dark. Every page will put you on edge as you anticipate what may happen next, but you'll be wrong. So I am really curious about this book. I mean, I do love my mystery thrillers, so I'm very excited for this one. This one comes out on July 2019. The next book that I got is one that I'm so excited for because I have read his books way back when. I think, I want to say like middle school or high school, and I think I read the trilogy, I want to say, part of the series, and for whatever reason I just never got back into his books. I don't know why. I just like lost track of this author, I guess. And then when I found that he was writing a new fantasy book, I was like, wait, I am so excited for this one. And this one is called Angel Mage by Garth Nix. I don't know anything about this book, but this is a YA fantasy. It's by Garth Nix. That's really all I need to know. This one comes out on October 2019. But I am assuming that's something to do with angels because, I mean, the title of this book. So I feel like it has something to do with angels, and it says back here, beastlings. So regardless, I am so excited for this book, guys. The next book that I got is one that I kind of got. I really wanted this book, but because Macmillan only let you have 2 tickets for the galleys that they drop when they do author signings for the day, so there was 4 books I really wanted, and then I ended up getting one of them for sure. I got the other one because of Gideon the Ninth, and then there's like 3 other books that I wasn't sure about yet, but I think one of them I got randomly, so I was like, okay, at least I got from that. And then so I didn't end up getting tickets for the other 2 that I really wanted, so I ended up going in line at the end. I was like, I don't know if you have availabilities, but if you guys do, like, I'll let everyone with tickets go first, but like if there is, they were like, that's fine, you can stay in line. So I just stood in line, and then at the end they were like, we have more than enough books, so I managed to get a copy, so I'm so grateful for that. And that is The Burning Shadow by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Honestly, Armentrout has been really living up to my expectations of books. I really enjoy all her books I've read recently, and this is supposed to be a spin-off series to the Lux series, which I really adored. This is book 2, and I want to say the Origin series, I think it's what the series is called, but I'm just so excited for it. I love the Lux series. It was so good. All the characters in there were amazing. I really enjoyed it, so I have really high expectations for this one as well. And this one comes out on, when does it come out? October 2019. Okay, so the next book that I got is the other sci-fi book that I mentioned earlier, which is one I'm very excited for. This one is Cold Storage by David Koepp. Hope I pronounced his last name correctly. This book is something to do with a biological warfare, some sort of plague, something like that, and they need to figure out how to contain it before it spreads everywhere else. And it's basically a book about survival and trying to save the world, etc., which I am so excited for. This is one of the few sci-fi novels, like I said already, so I'm very excited for this one. This one comes out on September 2019. So I just went through the first stack of books that I have. I have 3 stacks, so, and I think that was the shortest stack, so I feel like I already went through a god number of books, but apparently not that many. So anyways, the first book in my second stack is The Dearly Departed by Kara Wall, or maybe it's Kara Wall. Really hoping I pronounced that name correctly. This one is supposed to be, okay, so I actually was not expecting this book, but what intrigued me the most was the sentence where it says, we follow these two couples through decades of love and friendship. And for those who don't know already, I mentioned this briefly in another video where I talked about how I like books where it sets over many years, decades, it's a generational saga, etc. So I feel like this is the type of book that I would really enjoy. It's going to be a historical fiction, which I also really like as well. It's set in the 1960s, and that's honestly all I really know about this book. And this book comes out on August 13th, 2019, so I'm very excited for this one. Plus the cover is gorgeous. I love this red and blue and gold as well. The next book that I got is one that I'm so excited for, mainly because it's an adult fantasy novel and it has the infamous snake on it, and that is Queen of the Concord by Karen Callender. Hoping I pronounced her name correctly. But this book looks gorgeous. I love this book. It's supposed to be a Caribbean inspired fantasy novel, and that's all I know about this book. That's all I really need to know about this book. And this one comes out on November 2019. The next book that I got is one that I got where it was also another Fierce Read Recommends, and I think I told them I want a fantasy, but they gave me contemporary as well. I don't know why they think I like contemporaries. I keep telling them something like fantasy. I gave them titles and they're like, oh, we don't have any of those. I don't know, but they ended up giving me a contemporary book, and I honestly don't know what I expect from this book, but this is Girls Like Us by Randy Pink. It follows these 4 girls and somehow they're dealing with this unplanned pregnancy. So it's not a book that I would normally go for, but we'll see, guys. But this one comes out on October 2019. The next book that I got is one that I have seen a lot of buzz about, so I was very intrigued by it and I really want to pick it up, and that is Dear Haiti, Love Elaine by Micah and Marita Mulit. I'm really hoping I pronounced their names correctly. They're the sweetest authors. Honestly, they were so adorable. So anyways, this book is a contemporary again, but this book sounds really good though. It's about this girl. Something happens in school. She goes off to Haiti basically for this like spring volunteer immersion project, and she's supposed to work under her Tati at her new nonprofit, and she ends up getting like FaceTime with her mother. She ends up meeting all these people, also discovering Haiti, and I feel like this book would be really, really fun. And honestly, this cover just looks gorgeous. I feel like this, even though it says spring volunteer, but I feel like this is a very summery book, so very excited for this one. And this one comes out on September 3rd, 2019. The next book that I got is one that I'm so psyched for, and that is Wicked As You Wish by Rin Chipico. It's supposed to be an alternate history fairy tale, specifically for Snow White, where I guess Snow White, or the Snow Queen, I guess, she wages a war against a country, and now the residents of this country are now refugees in modern day Arizona. And they have no magic at all, and the guy, his Prince Alexei, he's like the sole survivor of this royal family, and something happens from there, and I'm just so intrigued about this book, guys. I just feel like I've never heard of an alternate history fairy tale. I've heard of alternate history of like realities, but a book about a fairy tale that somehow something else happens and somehow it's set in modern day world, it's just so enticing for me. So very excited for this one. This one comes out on March 2020. Oh, this is actually a really early arc. I'm really surprised with that. I did not know it comes out that late. I thought it was like early 2020. But anyways, March 2020, guys. The next book that I got is one that I was not expecting to get. Okay, so I knew about this book. I knew they were dropping it. I just didn't know if I have time to go for it. But I did, and I managed to grab a copy of Saint X by Alexis, oh gosh, Shaikin? Oh my god, I feel like I definitely butchered that name. I'm so sorry. This, first of all, can we just say how gorgeous this cover is? I love the stunning cover. And all I know is supposed to be about a psychological thriller. It's about a girl whose sister vanishes years ago on a Caribbean, like a luxury Caribbean vacation. And years later, something happens, and I guess that case, that mystery, ends up digging itself up again, and something happens. I don't know, but it just sounds so intriguing to me. As you guys can clearly tell, I'm in this mood right now for a lot of mystery thrillers. A lot of the books I got, especially the adult fiction, were mystery thrillers, so I'm so excited for this one. This one comes out on February 2020. The next book that I got is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. This is a YA debut. It follows these two boys who fall in love with each other when their parents become involved with this NASA mission to Mars. This just sounds really adorable. I'm very intrigued by it. We'll see how this goes. This one comes out on February 2020. Then the next book that I got is one I'm so excited for because of the author, and that is Alley Cross by James Patterson. When I saw that there was a James Patterson book, I was like, yes, must pick it up. I think I got another one too just because of James Patterson. And this is supposed to be about the son of Alex Cross, so it's supposed to be I guess like a spin-off or a continuation series of his famous Alex Cross series, which I'm very excited for. And this book comes out on November 25th, 2019. Then the next book I got is Slay by Brittany Morris. I am so excited for this book. This book sounds so good, and the cover is Gorgeous, guys. About the girl who basically created this online card role-playing game, and no one knows that she is a creator for this game, but it is very popular. One day something happens, some sort of scandal rocks this game, this world, and now she needs to keep her identity even secret, like even more safe, I guess. And this book deals a lot with racism, discrimination, and I'm just really intrigued by this book. This one comes out on September 2019. Then the next book I got is The Deserter by Nelson DeMille and Alex DeMille. I'm really hoping I pronounced that last name correctly. This one I got because this is a thriller novel. Like, I feel like most of the time when I read thriller, they're usually mystery thrillers, but this one is a pure thriller novel, and it's supposed to be about a guy who disappears from this elite Delta Force, and now people are questioning if he actually deserted before he disappeared, and there's all these questions about that, and they're trying to find out, and then a year later he ends up resurfacing from where is it, like Venezuela. So very excited about this book. It sounds really good, and this one comes out on October 22nd, 2019. The next book that I got is one I'm so excited for, and that is The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. This one, all I know is it's a murder mystery set in New Orleans. It's set in the 1800s, 1872, and it's by Renee Ahdieh, and I was like sold, guys. I am sold. Give me this book right away. So I am so excited to get a copy of this book. This one comes out on October 2019. The next book that I got is The Last True Poets of the Sea by Julia Drake. This is a YA debut novel. So this book, all I know about this book is it's supposed to be kind of emotional, it's supposed to be deeply honest, it's supposed to be like about a shipwreck. Something happens and the girl goes off in search of something else. There's a shipwreck in there, that's all I really know, to be honest. It's supposed to be deeply romantic, and honestly these are all buzzwords that I really, really like, so I was very fascinated by it. Plus the cover looks gorgeous, guys. This one comes out on October 2019. Then the next book that I got is a YA historical fiction, and that is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepidis. I mostly got this book because, one, it's historical fiction and I love that. I feel like there's not that many, like, I don't read that many YA historical fiction. I read a lot of adult historical fiction, so this one really intrigued me. And it's by Ruta Sepidis, which I haven't read her other book, but that is #1 on my list. I need to read that as soon as possible. So when I saw that she has another book coming out, I was very excited about it. This one's supposed to be about the Spanish Civil War, but not about the Spanish Civil War. It's going to be like the retributions of the Spanish Civil War, because I think it takes place like 20 years after it happens, and it follows this girl who is somehow she's dealing with the aftermath of it, and very excited for this one. And this one comes out on October 2019. So the next book that I got is one I just find so intriguing and kind of funny as well, and that is Swipe Right for Murder by Derek Millman. This one is because it's supposed to be kind of a thriller novel. It's about this guy who's on the run because of this mistaken identity, and I guess he had swiped right for something, and this was a hookup that turned deadly, and now he's hunted by the FBI. So this book just sounds like it'll be a quick read, to be honest. It sounds like something that I can just sit in one sitting and just be really into it, and I'm just really excited for. This one comes out on August 6th, 2019. The next book that I got is purely a cover book, to be honest. I just saw the cover, they're handing it out, and I was like, I like that cover. And that is The Paris Orphan by Natasha Lester. This one is a historical fiction that I do enjoy as well. So once I saw the cover, I did see that it's historical fiction, so I was like even more compelled to pick it up. And it's supposed to be about like a dual timeline. One is set in the 1940s and the other one is in the early mid 2000s, and about like this history, uncovering all these secrets about what happened back then. And it just sounded really good, and the cover, like I said, looks absolutely stunning. And this one comes out on September 17th, 2019. The next book that I got is one of my top 3 picks that I really wanted to get from BA. I was like, these are the 3 books I really want to get, and this one is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Young. I got her first book during BA as well last year, and she was such a nice person. She's such a nice, lovely person, and I got it signed once again, so very happy about that. And this one, I just read the first book earlier this month, or earlier last month I want to say, because now it's June, but I enjoyed it so much. It was really, really good, and so I basically read it so I can go and pick up this book, to be honest. And this is basically just a continuation. Again, this is the sequel, guys, so I'm not going to talk too much about the series, but it's about these paper casts. It's about this demon who, like, this demon king, I guess, and he has these like concubines, I guess what they're called, and something happens. It's really good. It's a lot about feminism, strong females in the first one. There's some magic in there as well, and this is the sequel to that, and I am so excited for it. This one comes out on November 5th, 2019. So because I just read the first one, I feel like I will read this one as soon as possible because it's still fresh in my head, so very excited for this one. The next book that I got was one that I wasn't expecting to get because I actually didn't even know that they were going to drop this book, but a lot of other booktubers were going for it. They said that I should pick it up. They're like, go get it. It looks really good. So I decided to do so, and that is Imaginary Friend by Stephen Stephen Chbosky. He is the author of Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I really enjoyed back in high school, I want to say, and I didn't know he's coming up with another book. All I know about this book, to be honest, is that it looks like it's supposed to be kind of a horror-ish book, at least from the cover. It does say here that's supposed to be something about like Stephen King shows. So Stephen King is the master of horrors. Horror book, I feel like that's kind of the impression I'm getting from this book. And okay, it also says over here that it's like the scariest thing I've read in a long time, so we'll see, guys. This one comes out on October 1st, 2019. Alright, I need to head out now, but I'll be back to continue with the book haul video, the rest of the book haul books, so time to go to BookCon, guys. So anyways, I am back now, and I probably look a little bit haggard because it's raining, I'm tired, it's exhausting, I'm just, yeah, anyways. But I did manage to pick up another book during BookCon, mainly because Madison won something and she was like, I feel like Stephanie will like it, so she ended up giving it to me, and that is The Snakes by Sadie Jones. By the way, thank you so much, Madison. This book I have seen this book so many times on Bookstagram right now, and I feel like it's really popular. It's kind of hyped up right now in a good way, I hope, so hopefully I'll really enjoy it. I feel like this book is supposed to have some sort of horror element in it because it's set in a abandoned hotel in modern day rural France, and it talks about this dysfunctional family, and it's supposed to be terrifying. It's supposed to talk about their darkest secrets, so I feel like this has some horror elements to it, also probably some thriller aspects to it, but regardless, I am very excited for this book, and yeah, I'm really excited to actually finally dig into this book. Oh, and this book is also an ARC. It comes out in June, sometime in June, just June 2019. So anyways, back to the Book Expo books that I got. The first one is A Flight Girls by Noelle Salazar. The reason why I want to pick up this book is because it's supposed to be about Pearl Harbor, and it's about a girl who, because of the incident that happened at Pearl Harbor, she ends up deciding to go into the Air Force herself. And it also says over here that's inspired by the real team of female pilots who trained soldiers in World War II. So I am very, very intrigued by this book. And this one comes out on July 2nd, 2019. The next book that I picked up was one that I saw randomly when I was passing by Scholastic, and that is Castor by Elsie Chapman. This is a YA, I want to say fantasy because it has magic elements in it, but other than that I don't really know. But I also want to say that it's set in like our real world today, so maybe some urban fantasy elements to it. I'm not really sure, but it has something to do with gangs, I want to say. It seems like it's something to do with gangs. There's like gangs involved, there's magic involved, something about debts being paid up, and this one just sounds really, really interesting to me. This one comes out on September 3rd, 2019. The next one that I picked up is War Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. Oh my god, I definitely butchered his name, I'm so sorry. But I am most excited for this book because it's supposed to be a sci-fi Black Panther inspired Nigeria, which sounds so compelling to me. So I guess this is another sci-fi book that I picked up, but I want to say there's like a sci-fi fantasy element to it as well, and it's also set in the future, and it just sounds so good. This one comes out on October 2019. The next book that I got is The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. This one I'm so intrigued by because it's supposed to be Westworld meets The Handmaid's Tale, which I feel like is a very interesting concept, so I'm very curious to see how they'll mesh up together. And it's also supposed to be a fantasy novel, which I mean, like, you know, I love fantasy, so this seems like right up my alley. This one comes out on October 2019. Then the next book that I picked up is The Ventriloquist by E.R. Ramseypour. Hoping I pronounced that last name correctly. And this one is just a historical fiction. It's set during World War II, and that's kind of all I know about it. This one comes out on August 27, 2019. And also, by the way, I'm so sorry for some of these very short summaries because some of them I do know, but at the same time, I read the summary like way back when I first started doing my schedules for BEA, and so I don't really remember all of them now. And plus, honestly, a lot of them I don't like to go too much into details because some of them are spoilery, especially with some of the mystery thriller novels. So anyways, that's all I really know about this book. It's World War II. It's one of the fictional books that Harper/Harlequin was giving out, so very excited for this one. So the next one that I picked up was kind of an interesting story because I thought this book would be really popular. I think I see a lot of hype on it on book Twitter, but for whatever reason, I was number 5 out of maybe 6, maybe 7 people to pick up this book, and I'm not really sure why, to be honest, because I'm really excited for this one. This one is The Dragon Warrior by Katie Zhao. This is a middle grade inspired, like Asian inspired fantasy novel. It has a dragon, so I am very excited for that. Honestly, I picked this up because there's dragons involved, it's Asian inspired, and I feel like I need to pick up more diverse books these days, especially Asian books, so I was very excited for this one. This one comes out on October 15, 2019. The next one that I picked up is The Beast by Ali Condi and Brennan Wright. This one is the sequel to The Dark Deep, and I got that one last year during BEA as well, and I'm excited for it. It's like a fantasy kind of book. It also has some sort of horror/creepy elements as well, which I really like. This one comes out on October 1st, 2019. So I'm finally down to my last pile. The first one that I picked up is The Chain by Adrian McKenty. This one is another adult mystery, horror, thriller kind of book. It's about this kid who was like this child who was kidnapped, and the only way for the parents to get back the kid was to kidnap another child, and then once you do that, you're part of the chain. So it just sounds very eerie, kind of like suspenseful, kind of creepy, definitely psychological as well, and it sounds really, really good. This one comes out on July 9th, 2019. Okay, so I just realized right now that this is actually a sequel to the first one. I do have, I haven't picked up yet, but I only got this because I saw the author and I was like, I like his book, so I figured I'll just pick it up. And that is Shattered City by Scott Westerfeld. This is book 2 in the Imposter series, which I also got around BA/Book Con last year. So, and honestly, like I said already, the only reason why I picked up this book is because I saw Scott Westerfeld. I don't know anything about this book. I want to say it's like sci-fi, maybe dystopian or something like that, but other than that, I really don't know. This one comes out on September 17th, 2019. The next book that I picked up, I'm really surprised, to be honest, because I did not expect it to be a mass paperback copy. I thought it would be an ARC, like a regular, like an ARC paperback or a hardcover or something like that, but it was a mass paperback, so I was very shocked by it, and that is The Kingdom of Exiles by Maxim M. Martineau. I mean, I have nothing against mass paperbacks, I just feel like I don't really own that many, and I just didn't really expect it, so I was very surprised by that. For whatever reason, this one, the cover somehow looks like a urban fantasy, but it's supposed to be an epic fantasy romance novel, so that's the main reason why I picked this book, because I was like, epic fantasy, romance, sign me up for that. And it says over here that it's supposed to be Assassin's Creed meets Fantastic Beasts in this gripping epic fantasy romance, so very excited for this one. So anyways, this one comes out on June 2019. I don't know which day, I looked it up just now, but sometime in June 2019. The next book that I got was actually not from BA. It was right before that. I went to a novel event, which I am so grateful to be invited for because it was actually a lot of fun to go to. And the book that I got during that time, so basically what happened was that you build your own novel box, and also you get this book that is by the guest speaker, and this time around the guest speaker was Bernie Colbert, so we got her latest book, or her most upcoming book, and that is The Revolution of Bertie Randolph. I don't know too much about this book other than the fact that it's a contemporary. It's supposed to be about a girl called Bertie, and she falls in love with this guy, and he's a very sweet boy, but he has some sort of troubled past, so she knows that her parents would never approve of their relationship, and there's also some sort of tension within the family when her aunt moves from Chicago into their family's apartments. There's also supposed to be some sort of long buried secrets that come to light, which I am so intrigued by. And anyways, I'm just very excited for this book. This one comes out on August 2019. So the next one that I picked up is one that sounds so good. Like, this was one of my #1 picks. Not the top 3, I would say, but maybe top 5 of books I really wanted to get BA, and that is The Passengers by John Mars. This one just sounds so fascinating. So for the longest time, I thought this was like a sci-fi book, but it's not. It's like a thriller novel. But the reason why I thought it was sci-fi was because it's supposed to, it's like, well, it's set in the futuristic world, I guess, because it's about these like self-driving cars. And at this point in time, they are the norm. They're very trusted. Basically everyone has it, and then one day these 8 people find themselves in this terrifying situation when suddenly a man's voice appears and tells them that you're all going to die. And the kicker is that their panic is actually being broadcasted through all these like hidden cameras in their cars, so millions of people, billions of people are watching their rising panic. And what's even worse is that the public needs to decide for themselves who should we save and who should we kill first. So I'm just so intrigued by this because it sounds so good. This one comes out on August 27, 2019. The next book that I picked up is the other one where I said I saw James Patterson's name on it, and I was like, yes, let me pick it up. I didn't even know they were dropping it, but I'm very excited for it because James Patterson, guys. This one is called Sophia, Princess Among Beasts by James Patterson with Emily Raymond. I have no idea what this book is about, but it seems from the cover looks to be something about fantasy, maybe in the medieval period, maybe even like historical fiction kind of thing, but like in the medieval period kind of stuff. But I'm very excited for this one. This one comes out on July 15th, 2019. Then the next book that I picked up is one that I'm also very excited, definitely top 5 of my list here, and that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahern. Really hoping I pronounced that last name correctly. This one sounds so good. The reason why I'm so excited for this book is because it's supposed to be about a witch. Her name is Louise, and it's supposed to be about a witch hunter. But somehow, due to circumstances, they end up getting married, and I'm just so intrigued and fascinated by what's going to happen next. I mean, the idea of a witch marrying a witch hunter, and both of them know each other's identity. At least I'm assuming that's the case here. At least she knows his identity. I don't know if he knows her identity. But regardless, though, I'm just so fascinated by this book. This one comes out on September 2019. And also the cover is gorgeous, guys. Then the next 2 books that I picked up are graphic novels. I decided to pick up Little Witches by Leigh Dragoon, as well as Black Mage by Daniel Barnes and DJ Kirkland. This is supposed to be basically like a witch-inspired version of Little Women, and this is supposed to be Harry Potter, but it features a black dude, so very excited for that. It's like diversity, and this one has like fantasy elements to it, so very excited for the both of them. And this one comes out in August 2019, and this one comes out in October 2019, so very excited for the two of them. Also, the drawings for these are absolutely stunning. This one is Little Witches, and then over here is Black Mage, and just look how beautiful some of the graphics are. So very, very excited for the two of these. So the next book that I got was one that I was not expecting at all. It was definitely a book that was kind of recommended to us by the publisher or maybe the agent, I'm not really sure, as well as the author, and that is Offline by Bryan Adams. What they both said that kind of intrigued the two of us, like Madison and I, was the fact that it's about social media, and we're both booktubers. We're like, yeah, we like social media. But what's interesting is that it's about this girl who is obsessed with social media. Something happens and her parents decides to ship her to her grandparents' place where there is no social media. And so now things happen from there, and I'm just really curious to see how the story will go. The premise does sound very intriguing to me, but at the same time it's like all about social media and like our obsession with social media, and I'm like, I'm definitely in that category, so we'll see how this one goes. This book came out already in April of 2019, so this is probably the only finished copy. Actually, no. The other one, the Kingdom of Exiles, also a finished copy. So these are the only two finished copies I think that I have in this entire pile. So anyways, this book does sound very intriguing, so I guess I'll find out. So the next book that I got is, okay, so apparently I say her name a lot in this video, but to be fair, we hung out like the entire time during BA, so Madison recommended this book. She really wanted it, so I figured why not pick it up for myself. And that is The Dark Lord Clementine by Sarah Jane Horowitz. I want to say this is a middle grade book, but other than that, I really don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it has something to do with a Dark Lord, maybe fantasy, maybe magic, something like that. And this one comes out on October 1st, 2019. The next one that I got is like kind of a weird book, to be honest, because it's literally a jacket, like a paperback jacket over the arc, but they're both, like the jacket is also an arc as well. It literally says like Advanced Reader's Edition. So I don't know, I think the reason why I did that is because they actually have the cover, and then when they printed it out initially, they didn't have a cover. So I think that's why, but I feel like I kind of want to take it out because the original cover looks kind of cute too. But anyways, this one is called Followers by Megan Angela. So this one sounds really fascinating because it's about a group of, I think, two friends who made some sort of dark choices to gain all these followers, and now years later some of the retributions of what the choices that they made way back when come back to them. So I'm actually really intrigued by this book. And the thing is, it's not even about the two initial people who did all this stuff. I want to say it's their kids or their something. I want to say it's like a generation after that where they discover all these secrets about their past. So I'm very fascinated by this book. And this one comes out on January 14th, 2020. So very excited for this one. So the next one that I got is one that I have been trying to get for a while now actually, and I'm so excited to finally get a copy, and that is The Last Train to London by Meg Wade Clayton. This one's supposed to be a pre-World War II book about the Kinder transport, where they basically transport thousands of kids from the Nazi-occupied Europe. And it's centered specifically on one brave woman who transported them all to safety. And I'm just so fascinated by this book. I love historical fiction. I feel like that is one of my biggest things right now, is like historical fiction. I love fantasy, I love sci-fi, I love mystery. Okay, never mind. I just love everything, guys. I'm just naming all the genres out there. So I'm just really excited for this one. This one comes out on September 2019. The next book that I got is The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring. Really hoping I pronounced her name correctly. This one just sounds so good. It's supposed to be a gothic psychological thriller, and it's supposed to be set in Patagonian myth, which I am just like, what? I feel like I've never read a book that's set in that kind of like mythology, so I'm really excited for that. And this one comes out on September 2019. The next book that I got is Cursed, which is illustrated by Frank Miller and written by Thomas Wheeler, which I'm so excited for. This is supposed to be a new version of King Arthur, which I am so excited for. I love anything to do with Arthur, Legend of Arthur, all that stuff. So what intrigued me the most, not just about the King Arthur, is that it's supposed to be about King Arthur, but it's a woman instead. It's supposed to be a queen instead of a king, so I'm so up for that. And it's also going to be adapted into a Netflix series, which I'm very excited for because now I can read the book and then watch the series, which yes. And this one comes out on October 1st, 2019. The next book that I got is Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. This one I got is because it's supposed to be a retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo, and I love my retellings if you guys don't know already. And it's also supposed to be a gender swap retelling, so I am really excited for that. And it also says in the back here that's supposed to be perfect for fans of Sarah J Maas, which I adore. Saba Tahir, which I have read one of their books. I need to finish the series, to be honest. I need to give that book another try, to be honest. And Leigh Bardugo, which I also absolutely adore. So with that in mind, I'm like really excited for this one. And this one comes out on January 2020. And the next book that I got is partly because of the cover, because it's absolutely stunning, and that is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow, which I am so excited for. This one, okay, so this is partly because of the cover. Look how beautiful this is, and also because it's about a book. It follows a woman called January who one day finds a very strange book. And this book carries a sense of other worlds, and every single page apparently reveals impossible truths about the world, and it just sounds so good. I love books where it's about another book and then transports you into another world. It's like Inception kind of, but like not really. But I'm just excited for this one. And this one comes out on September 10th, 2019. Then the next book that I got just sounds so good to me. I'm like all so up for like royals and princesses and princes and anyways, this one is called American Royals by Catherine McGee. This one's supposed to be an alternate reality of our history. So what happened if George Washington didn't become president, but he became king? And this book just basically follows 2.5 centuries later, where there is an American throne, there's American monarchy, all that stuff, and what happens then. And I'm just so excited for that. And this one comes out on September 3rd, 2019. And the next book that I got is also one that I have been eyeing for a while now, and that is Here There Are Monsters by Emelinda Biraby. I'm so sorry, I definitely pronounced that name incorrectly, but this one sounds really good. Also, the cover just looks so creepy. It's like great. So it says over here that's to be a story of sisterhood turned toxic, imaginary monsters brought to life, and secrets that won't stay buried. So honestly, and there are some horror elements to it, which I'm really like sold, because I don't really read that many books with horror elements these days, but I'm really enjoying that genre, so I feel like I should definitely pick up more of these, and this one definitely fits that bill, and this sounds really good. So this one comes out on August 6th, 2019. So the next book that I got is Max Einstein, Rebels of a Cause by James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein. Oh god, I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. This one, again, James Patterson, guys. I was like, yes, please. Honestly, I don't know what this is about, but I remember the first one just being very about this middle grade girl who's like incredibly smart, hence Einstein. And I want to say that she is related to Einstein in some way. Not really sure though, don't quote me on that. But this one comes out on September 9th, 2019. So the next two books, I want to talk about them together because I got them together, and that is Queen of Ruin by Tracy Banghart, as well as Rise by Ellen Goodlett. This one is supposed to be about, the first one was Grace and Fury, and I remember from the synopsis from way back when, it's something to do about two sisters. I want to say they're identical sisters, and one of them is a Grace, which means that she's groomed for, I want to say the prince or the king or something like that, like basically for royalty. But on the other hand, her sister is thrown into prison, I want to say, and basically she has to use her status as a Grace to save her sister somehow, and there's all this like, political intrigue going on. It looks very good. I have heard really good reviews, so I'm very excited for this one. This is basically the sequel to that. And then for this one, this is the sequel to Rule, which is about three basically like bastard daughters, I guess, where the king dies and no one is really set to rule after him. But then they found out that he has these three illegitimate daughters, and now they basically fight for the throne, which I am very excited for. So both of these sounds books that I will absolutely adore, so I decided to pick up the second one. That way I can binge read the first one and then pick up the second one as soon as possible. And this one comes out on July 2019, and this one comes out on June 2019. The next book that I got is The Whisper Man by Alex North. This is another thriller horror kind of book, and honestly this one sentence is like giving me chills already. It's about this guy who begins acting strangely and he hears a whispering at his window. That's already so creepy. Can you imagine going to sleep and there's like someone whispering at your window? Oh my god, that's giving me chills already. So I am just really intrigued by this book. This one comes out on August 2019. The next book that I got is The Secrets We Kept by Laura Prescott. This is one that I wasn't expecting to get because I didn't know much about it. I had never even heard of it, to be honest, but I was talking to the publisher and she was like, this is a really good book. There's supposed to be some strong female characters who turn into spies during the height of Cold War, which honestly I feel like I don't really read too many books about women who are spies during that time period, so I was really fascinated by that. And plus, I was like, historical fiction, that's really my jam right now, so very excited for this one. And this one comes out on September 2019. The last and final book that I got during BA is one that I am most excited for. If not most excited for, then top 3 for sure, and that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So this book is an adult fantasy, and honestly that's all I really need to know. That's all I really want to know. I'm going to dive into it without knowing too much because I feel like that might be best for this. But honestly, Leigh Bardugo, like, she can do no wrong at this point. I love her so much, and I'm so excited to get a copy. So grateful as well to actually get a copy of this book, and definitely cannot wait to pick this up as soon as possible. And this one comes out on October 1st, 2019. So anyways, that's it. Those are all the books that I got during BA. It was a very tiring 3 days, that kind of spanned into 4 days because I went to BookCon today, but not really because I was only there for like an hour, hour and a half, max 2 hours. So it was definitely a very tiring day. I was like, yesterday, Saturday, I was like, I'm not even going to try to even attempt to go. I considered it for a hot second, but I was like, no, I'm going to lie in bed and just watch my shows because I deserve that after 3 days of running around, sitting in line for hours and hours, and just doing all the bookish things and meeting new people and just being sociable, which also is very tiring actually. I feel like just being sociable is like draining sometimes. But anyways, I'm very excited for all these books. Definitely cannot wait to pick them up as soon as possible. Let me know down below which book you're most excited for, which book is on your most anticipated releases, and if you did go to BA, which book did you get that you're most excited for as well. Let me know all of that down below. But as always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!